we get to go back to the NAIA and find out what's going on with Life University. The Running Eagles are involved in the NAIA Nationals that start next week in Orange Beach and in Pensacola, men's and women's. We talked to Coach Palma before Thanksgiving. We're catching up with Meg McGonigle after Thanksgiving to find out what in the wide world of sports is going on the women's side. So what is going on the women's side, Coach? Thanks for dropping by the morning show.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, exciting time for us. We're still playing and it's almost December, which is what you want. So we're getting ready for a trip to Pensacola. We leave on Saturday to start in the Sweet 16 at the final site down there.
When you look at this season coming in, what were your expectations and the team's expectations coming into play this season?
We always want to be competitive on a national level. So at a conference level, we have one of the best teams in the country within our conference. So if we can be competitive there, I feel like we've set ourselves up pretty well to be competitive nationally. And we've done that at the conference level. The goals are always to win as many soccer games as you can, and to do it the right way. So we have a really good group of committed girls who have been here since July, sacrificing weekends and family events and early nights or late nights to get themselves ready and to be able to compete week in, week out. And we know that task isn't easy. So I'm just keep begging them right now. It's 2 weeks at the most that you've got to put your head down and work and eat a little bit less turkey yesterday and a little bit less pumpkin pie, and it will all be worth it in the long run. So we've had that group. They've done it. They've continued to do it week in, week out. So I think it is a special group. And getting them to buy into one vision and playing together has been the goal, and it's what they've done.
Was there a moment in the season when you're sitting there thinking, yeah, everything is clicked and pieced together, or has it been this gradual process that you're looking for and peaking at this time of year? How did it look to you from the touchline as they were evolving this season?
I think it's always a process. And I think even now we're still like looking at how can we be better? What can we improve? What can we tweak? And knowing that we've got a good thing going that's been winning. So not wanting to change it completely, but how can we keep evolving? So I think it's a process. I think it's continued to develop. I mean, we've had moments where I felt we played poorly on the road and come out with a win still. So I think although it was a poor performance, I think that's kind of a turning moment that we're still winning when we're not playing at our best. We've gone and traveled to some tough places in some tough circumstances. We were at a game where the field got flooded 60 minutes into the game and we're winning and we're up and we've got momentum. But we want to see the game. It's not going to be an official game if we don't wait it out. And then what does that look like for the last 30 minutes of the game? But the sort of professionalism and the maturity through the whole season from this group has been fantastic. And I think those are the pieces that have helped us develop and grow. And we've got some really good senior leaders, some girls that have been with the program for 4 years, some girls that have transferred in as fifth-year seniors who have just helped grow us. So I think it's been a process, and I think it continues to be a process, and we continue to learn. And I think the development piece of all of it, the coaching staff, the players, is been massive within our growth.
When you look at the roster, I believe it's 6 countries outside the United States that are also a part of the roster. There's a great Georgia contingent as well, and there's Southeastern and U.S., but there's also, I think, half a dozen countries, 6 or 7 other countries from the other side of the Atlantic that have integrated to be a part of the roster this year. How difficult is that when you've got half a dozen countries and players that grow up with ideas and systems that are might be more country based than what they're used to? Then they come over here, and then you have to take all of those different sections and all those different ingredients and turn it into that roux that you're looking for. How difficult is it to take all these different pieces and piece it together like that?
I think I'm in my 3rd season here now. I think we have our core. So the core each year of what we're trying to do, who we want to be, what kind of our core principles are, is going to be the same. And then we add in these different pieces, and can they fit into that core? And then what else do they bring? I always say, it's a puzzle every full that I have to put together, and the core of it will be the same. We're going to have these principles that who we are, what we do, but how do the pieces fit together now, because the puzzle looks different to what it did last year, even in the last spring. I think because we have that core, I think the transition in is easier. Like, these are the things that we're not swaying from. But different players from different places can add different things. And we think that's important as well. We have got a really good core group of Georgia girls, and we've made an effort to recruit the local player, just because there's such good soccer here and there's so much of it. So that's kind of built now, which is great, and that keeps ticking over each year. And then what can we add in? Always just looking for the best soccer player we can find. And I always say, we get asked a lot, what are you looking for position-wise? Yeah, we have certain needs in the recruiting cycle each year that we need to find. But if you've got a really good soccer player and she's a left back, and we have returned our left back, I'm sure we're going to find a way to put the puzzle together differently to get them both in the system. So we're just looking for good soccer players, good people that want to buy into hard work and grinding and winning games and trying to be competitive each year.
18-2-1 heading down to the nationals, and you're averaging about 5 goals a match. And the thing that was staggering to me is that it's 25.5 shots per match, just under 5 goals per match. And you've only given up 16 goals this season so far in your first 21 matches. Time to brag on the team a little bit. What's it like? Let me start with defense. Defense has only given up those 16 goals. What's it like to have a defense that has been as locked down as your defense has been this year?
Yeah, we've got a great group of girls there that are committed to blocking shots, heading balls, staying organized and compact, not giving much away. And we have a really good goalkeeper behind them. I always tell them, like, I do not want my goalkeeper to be the star of the show, because that means we're giving up too much. But she's been superb throughout the whole season, and she has been a star. So we have her, which helps for sure. But we've got 3 to 5 girls that we've got in that defensive rotation in that back line right now who have just been solid and committed. But we run our defense from our front line. Like, we're putting pressure on the ball high. We're making those forwards work. And work. And without that work, the back line doesn't get to do what they do. So I think it is a whole group of 11 players that are defending for us. And I think sometimes we talk about people coming in and these forwards coming in looking at me like I'm crazy that they're going to have to do so much defensive work. But I think if you can keep the ball out of the net, then you're in any soccer game you want. And that's what they've done really, really well. So we're always looking every time we give up a goal at what went wrong there. But yeah, we haven't given up many. And I think that's really allowed us to stay in every single soccer game we've been in.
3 players double digits in scoring, and one of them is a senior from Middlesbrough. You've got 2 Georgians that are your other 2 double-digit goal scorers, but your leading scorer this year is Sasha Millward, 26 goals on the season. And the thing is, she's only started 9 games of the 21 that you've played so far, and she's got 26 goals on the board.
Yeah, she's a starter. So we have a rotation of players, and she's in that rotation. So she is. I'm fighting for her for all conference and awards within our conference. It's a tactical decision to do that. I just told you we work so hard with that front line defensively. If we can kind of weather the game for 15, 20 minutes there, tire the other team out, and then put Sasha in, she's just had so much success at scoring goals in those moments. And she works defensively as well, but if we think about her being our most clinical finisher right now, if we can take away the first 15 minutes, the speed that gets put on your legs there, and it's a little bit more frantic and it's a little bit of a boxing match, if we can take that off her workload, she plays starting minutes each game. Every big game we're in, whether she starts or not, she's 60, 70 plus minutes. She just doesn't get that start. So it's a really tactical decision, which Sasha understands and has bought into. We've had her in our starting group for the last couple of matches, just because I also know that we get a chance in that first 15 minutes, and who do I want it to fall to right now? And it would be Sasha. So I think we're still, again, developing and growing and playing around with things there. And I think each game we're looking at what we think is best tactically. But that's been that decision there to not start her. So she's had starting minutes, but she's just come from off the bench.
Yep. Meg McGonigle, women's head coach at LifeU, hanging out with us here to kick off Freestyle Friday. as she gets ready for a roadie to go down to nationals in Pensacola in the NAIA starting next week. And I think 22 different goal scorers this year to put. I mean, that's a lot of different numbers and names that you've got to keep up with stats with in that G category.
Yeah, we've been lucky that our first rotation of players have done the job, and just with how college rules and soccer is, we can rotate through as many players as we want through that game through the regular season. So it's given us the opportunity to see more players and get them in the game. And I think that speaks to them buying into what we do, understanding our process, understanding that their time will come, and then taking those minutes when they come. So we've had a really good group. We've got a good freshman class this year who are learning and experiencing and growing and have gone through this whole process with us. So I think by next year, they're going to be really eager, ready and hungry. But a lot of them have stepped up in those moments and found goals and found stats. And it's been fantastic to see.
So for someone who hasn't had the chance to catch you either on video or in person this year, how would you describe what you want to do when things are going your way? Say whistle blows, everything's rolling, and you're getting done what you want to get done. How would you describe what you want to do philosophically for someone who's never seen you this year?
Yeah, I think we're really defensively organized. So I think that's kind of one of our core principles, that we will work hard defensively. We're transition back. We're going to get numbers behind the ball. And part of that defense is going out and being the aggressor when we haven't got it. So we go chase down a lot of balls that people might leave. We step up as high as we can. We have an emergency almost exit plan to get organized and get back if we need to. When we've got the ball, we like to possess, but I think it has to have a purpose. We don't need to connect 400 passes within a game if it's not getting us anywhere. And I think that speaks to how many shots we're getting off a game. Like, we have a purpose with our possession. We've tried to be a little bit more concentrated on our set pieces, where I think that was something we missed last fall with just having success in being dominant there. And we've got a few girls right now who are serving good balls and putting them into good areas, and then girls that will go chase them down. So I think, yeah, defensively organized, hardworking, possession with a purpose, like to go to the goal, like to make it exciting to watch. No one wants to watch us pass the ball around the back for 20 minutes. So if we can go forward, we will. But it's not kick and run soccer. I think we've got a plan, and if we need to be direct, we can be. If we can play through the lines, we'd rather be that team. But we'll play whatever the opponent gives us, and we talk about that a lot. And that's kind of a problem-solving piece that we put on ourselves as a coaching staff and put on the team. Like, how do we solve this problem right now to get to the goal? And we've got a number of ways that we can do it.
Is it safe to say that Guardiola would be an idea where if you're on the front foot, then if you lose possession, you give yourself 5 seconds, and then if you don't, you go back to your emergency exit strategy to try to group and get the ball back?
Yeah, we talk about it as controlled and uncontrolled moments. So a controlled moment would be like a goal kick. Okay, we can set ourselves up exactly player for player, spot to spot, how we want to be to go step up to press. An uncontrolled moment would be that what you're talking about there, that lost possession. And are we set to press right now? Are we high enough? Has our back line moved high enough? If it is, we can go. And if not, then we got to get it controlled again to be able to go again. So I wouldn't say we're talking 5 seconds to go get it back, but we have similar principles in what we want to do there.
As the 12th seed coming into the tournament, you made it out of round number 1, and it was a 2-0 win over Tennessee Wesleyan over at Marathon. What did you learn about yourself in that match that's carried forward to December 1st? And you get the late night game with John Brown. But what did you learn about yourself in round 2 with Tennessee Wesleyan?
I think we learned that we've got good depth. We used a lot of players in that game. A lot of girls stepped up to have good minutes. Dallas Tapia stepped up to help us get that first goal. She came off the bench. She's one of those players as well that could be in our starting lineup. She's for sure in our rotation, plays big minutes for us. She's come off an injury that she had earlier in the fall, but she's really found her feet now. So to see her step up in that moment as a local sophomore was awesome to see. I think it's good for us to play on the grass. We're so used to playing on turf. To get down to Marathon and have the grass was good. The field was a good big size. So I think it's going to be similar to what we see in Pensacola in terms of that. But the girls did it. They didn't shy away from the stage. We talked about it just being another soccer game and us wanting this game when we were talking about things in August and July, and to not get scared of that pressured moment. We saw it really different system of what Tennessee Wesleyan did, and helping them problem solve that was awesome, and watching them do that. So I think it was a really good, well-rounded performance from the whole team. Got the goals that we needed to get, and I think that was going to be our biggest thing. Can we score the goal? I felt like we kept them away from our net, pretty much controlled most of the game. But they managed the game well. We got the early first half goal, and then managed to get a one at a good time in the second half. So I felt like we controlled it all. I felt like it was a really good moment for them to step up as a group and learn, and not shy away from that moment, which they didn't.
Looking at the round of 16, it's a lot of chalk. A lot of the top 16 seeds have made their way through. When you're looking at a team like John Brown, or when you're going into a tournament like this, how far back do you go when you're looking at tape, when you're trying to look at tendencies on an opponent, something like that? I mean, some folks may go back to the beginning of the year. Some folks may go back to if you've played them before. When you're trying to figure out an opponent, how far back do you go?
Yeah, and I have played them before. I was in Missouri for a long time, so that was a matchup that we found there in our non-conference. I think maybe even every year I was there. So I know the coach, respect her. She does a great job year in, year out with that program. They've just been consistently on that national level. So kind of know tendencies that she has. And then you got to see what the personnel is for the year. I will watch any film that anyone will give me for this season of them. And just try and study as much as possible so that we know, okay, maybe it's not gone their way, but what could be a change that they go to because they've done it in the season before. But we're trying to work out personnel, we're trying to work out strengths, trying to work out weaknesses. We're obviously looking at their system, but yeah, anything from the year that I can get my hands on, I'll watch. So we've done a lot of that, me and my staff, over the last week. But yeah, so I think in terms of what we know about them, kind of have this idea, and then really narrowing down on who they are this year is really important.
So if anyone out there has any tape or any intel on John Brown, please reach out to Coach McGonigle at her life.edu email address. When when you're in this kind of a situation and you've got questions, it's like, okay, I'm stuck. I'm like in the mud here. I don't know where I should proceed with something philosophically or how to attack a player. How big is your speed dial when it comes to asking questions of either friends who are in the industry or fellow coaches? How big is your speed dial, and who's on it when you've got questions as a coach?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have my immediate staff, so the people that are my assistants right now who know our team the best and who are doing what I do. So we've met earlier in the week last week, and everyone's kind of got their own scouting report, and I'll try and be quiet for the first, and it's hard for me to be quiet, I like to speak, first 15 minutes of that, and let them tell me what they've seen. And then we're slowly putting together a profile of what all of our opinions are, which can be different as well, which is also really, really good, to put together what our game plan should be and how we want to attack and how we want to defend it. We've got the men's staff as well, who like both programs work. They're different things, but we're both coaching soccer and we're both watching each other's team and program and problem solving. So we've got them that we can go bounce ideas off. My mentor has been John Klein, who's at Southeast Missouri right now. I was with him, played for him at Columbia College for 2 years, and then worked for him for 7 years. He's someone that I called before our conference final game and said, hey, what do you do in this you were losing the game 1-0, last 10 minutes of the game, what's your plan? And like just little things like that. So my husband coached college soccer, so I've got him and someone that I can sit down and eat dinner with and say, well, you watched our group last night, what did you think? And so I have a great network of people around me that know soccer, know college sports, know sports, and you learn so much different things from different people. I coach a U15 club team, which completely different level and speed, but I'm learning stuff from that game sometimes and then thinking, well, wait a minute, that would actually transition into this. I just like to be around the game and around like-minded people as much as possible. So I think that helps me. I think it keeps me grounded a little bit and lets me know what is a stress and what shouldn't be a stress sometimes when you're looking at little nitpicky things. So I've got a really good group of people around me that can help with those sort of problems.
Yeah, I just have this vision now that you and your husband are having spaghetti dinner, salad, spaghetti and everything, and you guys are sitting there and you're either talking about what's going on or you're not talking about what's going on after a loss, or what is that dynamic like? Where is there a line of like, okay, we'll talk about it up until up until we get to halfway through dinner. We'll talk about it through the salad and maybe a little bit into the main course, but we get to halfway point in dessert, we're not talking about it anymore.
He's pretty good. He did college soccer, so he gets the grind of what the season looks like. He comes and watches our games as much as possible, and he enjoys that. I have an opinion, which I value, so that's good. But no, I don't think we're our personal life can still be our personal life. We don't get stuck on Life View Soccer too much. But he's just someone who has coached at a high level, played at a high level, who knows the game, and who I can ask X, Y, and Z from, and he'll give me his opinion on that. Whether I think it's right or wrong is a different question, but I value a different opinion. And even if I think it's wrong, I tell this to my assistants, even if I think you're wrong, and I might tell you, no, I don't think that's right, I promise you I'm going to be thinking about it now, whether it's the next day or I go on my run or whatever I'm doing, sat in the office. It's at least in my head. And sometimes I might come around and be like, no, actually, I think you're right. So I do truly value an opinion that's not mine.
Well, we cannot wait to see what's going to go down in Pensacola with you and with Orange Beach with Coach Palma, as both Life teams have made it into the round of 16, kicking off on December 1st. You've got the late game, which is always good. You can sit there and stare at everybody else, and you're looking for as many overtimes and penalty kick shootouts as humanly possible, especially in the 4 o'clock game, which would be your next go-round on December 4th in the quarters. Coach, thanks for dropping by, especially on a holiday weekend, Black Friday. I know you're getting ready to pack and throw about 9 days worth of clothes into suitcases before you hit the buses. Thanks for dropping by the morning show. Safe travels. Good luck. We'll be keeping an eye. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you.